You just want to sit on it.
Well, the microphone, that's what politicians use, isn't it? They talk out there. Never mind. Afternoon, all.
Oh,
Are we all sitting comfortably?
Yes.
Now look after this. He said he was nervous. I don't get nervous. We're having a giggle out there. What do you want to talk about? And let me explain something. This is not rehearsed. And if you want to join in at any time, mind your own business. Now, if you want to ask anything, I'm sure you'll find the right time. What do you want to start with?
Well, I want to start off with something we actually touched on in your great show that you performed for. Wasn't that a fabulous show, folks? We enjoyed it.
I'm in the finals. I'm going to boot camp.
You touched on Morecambe and Wise.
They touched on me, I think. Yeah.
What was your relationship? What was your friendship like with them?
Well, I said last night that, and people, I think, still think that I'm kidding when I say we were actually friends. We were friends, but it was getting to the point where I was beginning to wonder, was it affecting my record sales? Was it going to affect the sales? It wasn't. I was just playing him and everything was going great. But I rang his agent, Billy Marston. I said, some people are saying to me, is there any malice between you and Eric? And I said, I don't mind the jokes, but I don't want people to think we're bad. So he said, I'll have a word with him. So he rang me back to the manager in about 10 minutes and said, I've had a word with Eric and he's going to say something nice about you on Saturday night. I said, oh yeah. So I switched on and on he goes, people are saying, I can't do an impression, he said, people are saying, Des and I are friends. Well, I tell you this, he came to my daughter's wedding. He wasn't invited, but he came. He never stopped doing the jokes. He was just a lovely man. I could talk for hours just doing jokes about Eric, but we won't.
Just wonderful. I can imagine on because you actually appeared on stage with him.
Well, we did that thing. I did television shows. Did you ever see the one where I walked on behind them and they got my album? Oh, there's two of them. That's me and my aunties. Well, none of that. They like to rehearse, you know. They wanted it all to be spot on. And I just can't do that. I don't know, I get fed up with it if I've got to say the same thing every time. So I just started to clown around. I remember I was bouncing up and down like this. He said, what are you doing? I said, I'm rearranging my underwear. He said, be careful, you've just rearranged mine. There was loads of fun times. So I don't mind talking about, I've got some pictures here, but we can talk about, if you want, have a look at something, you know you're talking about the people who are interviewed. Have a look at some of those folks there. You can, spin we haven't got a screen we can show them, but there's some of the people who are taken on the show that was.
Right, so let me have a look at this one then. This is what I mean about me being nervous interviewing the man who's interviewed everybody. First one he shows me, Diana Ross and Julio Iglesias.
Well, a couple of kids, you've got to give them a chance, haven't you? Julio was like, Julio and Desio, can you imagine that? By the way, I'll tell you a true story about him. When he first came over here, Anthony, they said, this bloke's doing so well in Spain, and he got the song Begin the Beginning, and Wogan was playing it all the time. So I said, okay, well, can you let him do that song and another song, and I'll do an interview, and we should interview for 12 minutes. What they didn't tell me was he didn't speak English. It was like trying to interview Manuel from 40 Towers. So I thought I'd try and get him chatty, so I said to him, I knew that he'd played goalkeeper for Real Madrid, for the junior sides, and I played a bit of football for Northampton Town, believe it or not. And so I'm saying to him, you like soccer? He said, I see, soccer. So I said, I played for Northampton. He said, huh? I said, cobblers. Cobblers? What is cobblers? And I got the bit of the devil in me that time. So I said, well, cobblers is what you say to a British crowd. You want to win them over, you say cobblers to you. Well, we all had a laugh, the band, and we forgot about it, we went home. On the Saturday, he went on at the Albert Hall. 10,000 people said, good evening everyone, cobblers to all of you. So it was lovely. What other pictures you got there?
Well, another great...
Oh, Doddy!
Ken Dodd.
Oh, God, blimey. You know the ship would never arrive on time if he was on it. Did anybody ever go and see him? Oh, God, did you take pyjamas and sandwich him? He was... You know, I like to think I was the first comic to do this gag about him. We were talking about it, then we were having all the trouble with the tax, remember that? And he was in a trial up in Liverpool, funny enough, where was it? And someone said to me, you know, he's going to get 3 years. I said, he'll do 10. So I'd like to think I was one of the first to do that one. What else you got there?
Wow, look at this one. Shirley Bassey.
Shirley, oh. I'm the only one that's allowed to call her Shirl. Do you know what she gets funny about? She wants to be called Dame Shirley. She's a bit uppity, a bit of a diva, but she's a lovely kid too. But did any of you see the audience with that I did? Yeah. I did an audience with, and she was sitting in the front row. Well, it looked like the front row on the camera. I think she was about second or third row. And they do this bit. I was the only one they said that I said I want it completely honest. I don't want anybody fixed to say anything. In fact, I wore lenses that night for the first time because I normally wear my specs. I put my lens in and I could see all these famous faces. And there was Shirley down there. So I thought, what's she going to say? Because they said, Shirley, I said, you've got a question. She said, yes, remember you took me out on a date? Which I did. Oh, I did. Only the one. She said on dates, but we went on one date. And she said, you took me for I was appearing at Halifax Palace, and she was at the Grand Leeds. And she said, you took me for a row on Roundhay Road Lake. Anybody from Leeds? Well, there's a place called Roundhay, isn't there? Round the park. Well, I don't know whether it was on that lake, it was on a lake. I took her for a row, and then we went for some... And they did run it, the show didn't start tonight, so they run that, but when they repeated it at 6 o'clock, they had to cut that line out. What else do you want to talk about? More pictures or what else? I really don't mind. Proud. And I thought, well, I studied for 6 weeks. She could have been my subject on Mastermind. I knew everything about her. I was surprised, and the whole audience stood up. It was just one of those magic moments, because she'd never done a talk show in this country. In fact, she'd only ever done one in America called the Oprah Winfrey Show. She walked on, the entire crowd stood up, and I'd got some little words behind her on a screen, just odd words to remind me, Orient, in case she fell off a boat in China. I would have, just one odd little word. And then I thought, what do I do now? Do I stop? Because I couldn't see anything about it. I thought, I've got to keep going. And we did 45-minute interview. And we got into areas that normally I guess I wouldn't have asked her. Because she's a bit of a control freak.
Really?
Oh yeah, she was. And I said, and I suddenly got onto this. I remember the audience really, I said, you're a bit of a control freak. You could actually hear the audience go, what do you mean? I said, well, you made me go and see a film. Your management said, I've got to go and see you in this film. The Mirror Has Two Faces, it was called. I said, and I went to this tiny little cinema, and it said, directed by, produced by, songs by, lighting by. And I'm sure it was you with the torch show to my seat. She was a lovely woman. She's very, very, very professional. And she's still working and still singing great. Yeah. Who else? Oh, we can talk about anything. I don't mind what you want to do. What other pictures did I give it anyway?
Was there not a story about somebody, a royal connection there?
Well, it was a royal connection. She was, I don't know if they know this, Prince Charles, he was a bit keen on her. And she said that if she could have played her cards right, she could have been the first real Jewish princess. By the way, Prince Charles, I think, is wasted in his job at the moment. You're all going, what do you mean? I think Prince Charles would be the perfect English football manager. Listen up, fellas. It's going to be, well, it's 1-1 at the moment. One doesn't want 1-1, does it? What one wants is to score one. So the one could say one's 1-1. I don't know what I'm talking about here. I'm making myself laugh. Oh, they're bringing in drinks. Expecting a long evening. Go for it, Joe. Yeah, what's that? J-Lo on the same couch with me, and I got paid. Do it.
J-Lo as well as Catherine.
That's right, and I've actually got a picture with one either side of me. I didn't want to come home that night, but I had to go home.
That's quite a dress she's got on as well.
Nearly got on, you mean? She's a very attractive lady. The two I quite like J-Lo. She was really cute too. Isn't it? Oh, I don't want to talk about these things. I need jump leads these days. Jokes. Yes. Well, by the way, I've got a son. He's 9 years old, and he's going to be in show business. He comes home with poems, which I've written a few poems. But what was the one he came home with from school? He's now just 9, just before he came away. I'm trying to remember what he said. Oh yeah. I wish I were a glowworm. I never could be glum. because how can I be miserable when the sun shines out my bum? He's got jokes as well.
You told me one of his jokes as well, a fabulous joke. Would you say it?
He got low. He did. There was 2 or 3. He said, two snakes talking, and one said, "Are we poisonous?" The other said, "Why? I just bit my tongue." No, I've got to tell you one true story about him, which is not a joke. It actually happened. When he was just nearly 5, it was about 3 or 4 years ago. No, 4 years ago. My wife said, "Can you keep July the 5th clear?" I said, "Well, I'm not working that day." "Yeah, what is it?" She said, "It's sports day." "Sports day?" It's only nearly 5. So I said, "Okay, where is it?" She said, "At the school." So we went on, and as it happened, it was a really nice day. We got a picnic, got the little sandwiches, and we all having what was going to be a lovely afternoon. And the headmistress said, "Oh, Mr. O'Connor, how lovely to see you, and so sporting of you to volunteer."
No.
Volunteer? What did I volunteer for? She said, "Volunteer to run in the father's race." I said, "Have you got any grandfather's race?" So listen, the little fellow was looking at me, and I thought, I can't let him down, because I'm aware I'm a bit older than most of the other dads around there. And so I thought, I got it. And I used to be a good athlete when I was younger.
Okay.
I used to be quite a good athlete. So I thought, well, I've got to do this. So I'm going behind the bushes and I'm doing a warm-up, stretching, oh my God, stretching muscle. I've stretched for years. Thought, I've got to at least finish, I don't want to collapse halfway around. And suddenly I looked over and there's a black gentleman, a handsome black fellow, just stunning looking man, with rippling muscles. He's got shorts, he's got everything bar spikes on. Guess who it was? I'm not joking. Linford Christie. on my life. Gospel truth on my life. He lived 200 yards from me, so I thought, well, I don't want to spoil his days. I'll let him win. They made him carry a bucket of water on each arm, and he still won by half the blooming course. Oh, it's lovely, man. No, so I'm very, very proud. And by the way, I think the kid, I'm sorry if I'm prattling on a bit, Anthony.
Carry on.
I think my little fella has got these ideas for poems, these comedy poems, which he's started to write now. Because I've just written a book of comedy poems, which will be published next year. And I love Pam Ayres thing, but she does, Pam does poems about things from the past, like I wish I'd taken care of my teeth and things like that. Really funny, they're lovely, and she's a lovely woman. But I've been trying to write poems about things that drive us all potty today. Like cold. Do you get cold calls when people are
Oh, yeah.
It's a wonderful way you can get rid of them. I've done this in poetry, by the way. I'm just speaking to you now. Just say to them, "Look, I'm a little busy right now. You give me your home number and I'll ring you back later." They go, "Well, I might be having my dinner tonight." "I'm hoping you will be." Or you just got into the shower. Well, I wrote a poem. I'll tell you how it all started. I was asked to do, what's that program where they trace your family tree? Who do you think you are? Who do you think you are? I was asked to do that. And I checked it out, and you've got to be away for 6 weeks, because I'm from Irish descent. My granny fell down the stairs in Belfast. Anyway, no, I'm from Irish descent. Sorry about those Irish jokes. Paddy, you're driving too fast. You think this is fast? I drive twice as fast as this when I'm by myself. Well, I wouldn't want to be with you when you're by yourself. Anyway, so I'm thinking, I don't want to be away that long, 6 weeks. So I politely said no, I wouldn't do it. And then I thought, well, what I can do is you just check it out on the computer. So I wrote this little poem. So I did some DIY genealogy, but I think I got some of it wrong. Because according to me, I'm 103, my granny's alive in Hong Kong. And I also then wrote something about the airport, because the airport's getting, that's why I like going on a ship. You can actually bring a bottle of lemonade on or something without them taking it away from you. But on the ship, they drive you crackers. There was they've got a brand new thing now, see if I can remember this, called a body scan. It can see right through your clothes. It shows all your bumps and your dangly bits. And I'm a bit shy about that. The line that really made myself smile was, then they took away my nose clippers. Saw them as a threat, I suppose, like I'll burst into the captain's cabin and pull all the hairs out his nose. So I love the poem. What else you got? What do you want to talk
Who
about?
else have we got on this fabulous list? Wow.
Who that?
Lionel Richie.
Lionel Richie. Oh, no, he was on that audience with. He was really nice. The thing about him was not funny, but it's just true. Is when I didn't want to know who the guests were. I had an idea, but I didn't want to know for sure who the guests were. And I said, "Well, get him up and do a song. See if I can get him out of his seat. Come up onto the stage and sing a song with me." So they said, "We don't know what key he does it in. We don't know how he starts. We don't know if it." So we got his piano player and said, "Don't tell him. Tell us what." It was 3 times a lady. That's right. So he gave us the routine, and Braemar, who you saw last night, we started to play it in with the orchestra. But the routine that the piano player had given us was not the way he sings it on the stage at the moment. So don't take that picture. I don't mind. I've got a picture of Des on the Braemar. Anyway, that's it.
Yeah, he's very good, yeah.
A little bit. We won't keep it all jokey. Tell us some interesting little insight. If there's anyone wants to know anything about anybody, any scandal, I've met them all. Well, who do you want to know about?
What about this one then?
Who?
Tony Blair.
Tony. Yeah, well, I told the story, the true story, didn't I? When I said, if England win the World Cup, to him, will you sing a duet with me? I think I told this on the show the other night. And he said, yes, I will. And then I asked Elton John, he said, if England win the World Cup, I'll sleep with you. And then when England won the first 2 games, he rang me up, and he really did ring me up and said, I've just been out and bought new Jim Jams. I think I told you about that.
Was that an easy interview for you?
I got told off, because being a politician, some of the people said, you're like Hello magazine, it's all sweet, it's all nice. I said, look, I don't want to watch somebody hearing about their childhood problems. I don't want to hear all the nasty things. I'm not trying to get under the nails. I just want people to smile, and we got him smiling. At that particular time, you know, he was getting a bit of criticism, but I don't think, am I wrong? I don't want to see, ours is a jokey kind of show. I mean, some of the things we did on that show, Freddie Starr, just the thought of it, like taking a mad Rottweiler for a walk in the park. But I didn't want to do anything particularly political, and I said, wouldn't matter what guest we get, I just want to get them smiling and laughing. Just did wherever it went, and that's what we'll do right now. Where are we going to go now?
Well, next.
Yeah.
Let me bring the microphone so everyone can hear the question.
And
what happened to the plank of wood?
well, I've got a 9-year-old son, but I'm not sure what you're talking about.
You used to come on with a plank of wood.
No, I used to work with a comic called Joe Black, who would use a plank of wood and put his jokes on it.
Oh, it wasn't you?
No.
I'm through life telling everybody this story about how I used to see Des O'Connor at Manchester Patrol with a plank of wood.
Are you married?
No, but I could be.
I'm not sure you got the right bloke in bed with you as well.
I'm almost speechless.
I've never met a woman that was. Your turn. Want to play with the big boys? I'm not that big, but I've got a 9-year-old son.
I haven't had quite as many years of doing what you do.
Oh!
You don't know what I do.
You don't know what I do either.
I'm interrupting her. Come on, you shy little thing, give him the mic back. Give her a hand, that lady. What is it for? Hello, sir.
Hi Des, I'm Paul. Absolute pleasure to spend some time with you, so thank you for that.
You're more than welcome, Paul.
The ship, it's a ship, not a boat.
You're not a board.
It has been rocking and rolling a bit, which has left me with a dicky tum tum.
If you want to vote for Paul, the number to vote for Paul is give me your cabin number and I'll have you thrown out.
So, 2 very quick questions. Number 1, have you any advice for combating seasickness? And secondly, Could you repeat the tongue twister that you did in the show the other night, please?
Yeah, to combat seasickness, very simple. Don't get on the bloody ship. And the tongue twister, the lady said, we'll try it again, because you just say, I'll chew, 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 my jaws drop off.
Choo choo till my jaws drop off.
Are you going to practice that on your lady, are you? It's very short, so... Right, what else? Anything else you want to talk about? We've got plenty to talk about here.
Well, next one on this bunch of Will Smith.
Oh, well, I can't say anything funny about him. He was just so lovely. He was just a great guy. Very other night, I didn't know what he was before he came into show business. That's right, he was a policeman. Can you imagine Joe as a copper? All right, everybody, behave yourselves. What were they doing? I don't know. I'm wandering all over the place. But I don't know what we were discussing. What were we discussing? How did we get to that? My wedding. Well, it was just lovely. It was him and the Bobby Dabro, the three of them. I was doing New York, and they were doing the ooh-ahs behind me. There's something I'll treasure. I've got the video of it. And I've often said, you should put this on the TV, but people don't, the big companies don't spend the money anymore on the shows. It's a shame, because it's all, nothing wrong with the reality shows. It's just, for me, I like to see it was a golden era of television at one time, wasn't there? People like Eric and Ernie and the two Ronnies and
There's O'Connor.
There's O'Connor, yes, he was good.
Have you ever been approached by the reality people?
I've been approached by a lot of people. I was asked to do Strictly Come Dancing. But I was. What do you mean, I played a bit of football, you know, as well. So I'm not going to dance at the moment. I love being on a ship because everybody walks after Michael Myers. I'm not that bloody old. Michael Myers, he'll be 106 now. We did it. We were. I said to them, I'll do it now because I was doing the talk show at the time, Anthony. And they said, we got this game show we think could be resurrected. I didn't like that word, but I said, all right. So they said, we want to do it. And I thought about it. And I said, I'll do it on 2 or 3 conditions. One, we don't interview the people before they come on, the guests. We pick and they say, how are we going to get this? And we pick them out the audience. You would have been on for a start. Get people who, you know, are going to have fun with you and just have a bit of a giggle. So they said, okay, we can do that. So then I thought another idea, so let's get a married couple up together. Since then, other programs have done this, husbands and wives. And we did it on a pilot. We got the husband and wife up. And I said, now one of you has to answer the yes, no, and one of them has to answer the questions. So he said, I'll do the yes, no, I'll do it. I said, how long have you been married to? 53 years. And she gave me and him the kind of look that only a woman married to the same man. For 53 years, she went, good. So I said, you understand, sir, what's going to happen? You mustn't say yes and you mustn't say no. You've got to pay him for every question, every second you're asked. He said, yes. I said, right, here we go. Your questions start now. Is that your wife? He said, yes. I mean, no. I said, I reckon you are 50p. Riding in the Abington Army. Well, I'm going to try. He said, don't do it, Des. You mustn't do it. He said, you know when they all turn left at Tatnam Corner, you'll go straight through the bloody T-bar. He was a lovely man, Lester. So, yeah, I did a bit of sport. I don't do so much these days. And I don't know whether the coach went slowly by in the rain. And in the coach, I thought I saw my dad sitting with Danny LaRue. That's my mum with Lonnie Donegan. What's Max Barco's doing with my sister? Oh, Jesus. I need a rest. So I rushed downstairs and said, I'm having a funny turn and don't do the joke. The manager said, about time. Said, I'm not feeling good. I said, I think I'm hallucinating. He said, what? I said, I've just seen my coach go by. And then the coach is my life. That's really weird. So they slow me on and made me go on. And I walked out there and I remember looking in the box and thinking, what are those elephants doing in the box? There were cameras. Without my glasses, I couldn't focus properly. And I got through it all, but it was a really scary opportunity. But the Palladium has been always in my life, always, all the time. I remember I did a royal show there one night on the Sunday, and on the Monday, my mum and dad, they said they wanted to come and see the show. I'm ad-libbing, I'm trying to remember all this because it's vivid in my brain. the memory of it, but not the clarity of it. Mum and Dad said, we don't want to go and see the Royal Show, you're only on for a few minutes, but we want to come and see your show because it's 2 hours. I said, well, I'll do a deal with you. You come and see the Royal Show on the Sunday, then I'll get you tickets to see my show on the Monday. He said, yeah, that's fine. So I got a white Rolls Royce on the Monday to pick them up and bring them to the Palladium, and I got them the same flowers that had been left there for the Royal Show from the Royal Box. Got the red carpet left out there, and it was just, and then I introduced my mum and dad in the middle of one of their songs, which is You'll Never Know, and my mum only went like this. So sitting in there in the Royal Box is my own royal couple tonight. I've never forgotten. Anyway, I'm going to get emotional if I think too much about it. What else you want to ask me?
I want to know about your experience on Top of the Pops. Because you were on Top of the Pops, right?
Yes, I was. In the middle of all these insults from Eric Morecambe every week about how corny and how whatever I did. Well, I made 36 albums I used to had. And, but in the middle of all this madness, I got this, will you go on Top of the Pops? Because we'd done the Sky Boat song, me and Roger Whittaker. We did that. It was in 1986. 84, 86, 86, something like that. And so they said, would you go on it? I said, okay. So I went, I thought, oh, this is unbelievable, me on Top of the Pops. Because, you know, all madness. There was French Kissing in the USA, was number really wild records and music and things. And I went down to the Wood Green, where the studio is for Top of the Pops. And there were two fellas, and this is not a joke, there were two fellas on the gate. One big lad from Yorkshire said, hello, Mr. O'Connor, what are you here for? The good old days. The little Irish fella said, no, he's number 17 in the top 10. We were number 17 in the top 10. And then we went on. And I had a producer called Brian Penders who had a cartilage operation, and that was one of those things. In those days, they'd put a thigh to toe all the way. You know, it took about 6 weeks. These days, they do it with arthroscopy, and it's done in a matter of days. But he said to me, I want to come. I know. Let me know when you want me to go. Sorry. He said, he's looking at his watch. Are you getting fed up? Are you?
I'm just making sure we've got enough time for everyone.
Oh, don't worry. So he said, can you get me to come in and see the show? I'd love to see you on Top of the Pops. So I said, Brian, you know there's no seating. You can't sit anywhere with your legs stuck up anywhere in a plant. He said, no, my mate's going to bring me. He said, he's hurt his wrist, but he's all right. He's going to bring me. I said, what? He said, yeah, he's in a little bit of plaster. I said, oh, God, dear. And he said, give us a label saying we're your band. So one's got plaster, the other, oh God, all right. So I'm waiting for these two to turn up, and suddenly the stage manager came and said, we've got a problem. Roger Whittaker's had an accident. What? He said, but he will be here. He's hurt his ankle. So then Brian walked in with the fella with it, and then they pushed Roger in a wheelchair. And I laughed so much, this is not a giggle, I laughed so much, and I slipped my disc ever so slightly. Ever so slightly, and then as we're all lying there practically, this was it. Well, Des O'Connor and the band go to Studio D for rehearsals. We went in and all the crew thought it was a laugh and a joke. They thought we were doing a practical. They all cheered us. But so, you know, we did look like the walking wounded. But I did do Top of the Pops, yeah. And we went to number 4 after that. It was just awful. And I thought, I'm going to faint. I can't do it. Before I could think, is this a good career move? I collapsed in a heap. Because you can actually hear the silence. I promise you, you can hear silence. And it was getting louder and louder, the silence. And I'm laying there, and Tommy McCracken, the MD, his head came up over the footlights and he went, it's just in the act.